If you're new to my YouTube channel, please click that subscribe button and remember to click the bell icon to get notifications of all my uploads throughout the week. Hi everyone, it's Mike here. Now, I normally like to keep a small stash of cards that I can send out to people as a thank you or with a little note inside, just as the occasion arrives. And I've completely run out. So today I'm going to make a little mini stash. I'm going to batch make today. So I'm going to make a little mini stash of mixed media card fronts that I can just stick on to like an A6 or A2 size card that I can pop in an envelope and send out as and when I need to. So I'm going to switch over to my overhead camera and show you what I'm going to be creating on. So this is a sheet of 16 by 12 watercolour cardstock. It's £140 or about 300 GSM, and I'm going to leave it intact as one big piece. So what I've got is I've raided my washi tape drawer and I've just pulled in loads and loads and loads of washi tapes that have just been sitting there gathering dust, not earning their keep. And that's what I'm going to be doing a lot this year. I'm actually going to be working with a lot of resources that have just been sitting around staring at me and jeering because they're just taking up space and not being used. So I'm going to try and use up a lot of resources in that way this year, because you know, I'm well aware that people don't have loads and loads of money to spend, and using up what they've got is a great way to create art and breathe new life into what you've got. So some of these washi tapes, I have got a lot more. I'll just bring my drawer and you can see, look, all those washi tapes, as well as the ones that are on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to randomly grab pieces of washi tape and I'm going to just stick them down randomly all over the piece of watercolour cardstock. And these are all going to get stuck down in the background. I will be adding colour and paints and spritzers and all kinds of manner of stuff. Now I probably will have to battle and try and find the ends of some of these without, because you know that's what happens with washi tape if you don't leave bits that you can just grab and stick down quickly. So I'm also going to go over the edges because I'm not exactly sure how much of this is going to be waste and how much of it isn't. So I'm going to stick a load of this down, and rather than you sit there and watch me sticking individual pieces of washi tape down onto this cardstock, I'm going to go into fast forward, and then when I think I've got enough stuck down, I'll stop and then I'll join with you again to move on to the next step. So, cue music. Okay, I think that will do for the washi tape. So we have quite a lot of washi tape stuck down on there. Doesn't matter if anything's gone over, we can just tuck it around the back and just tidy it up that way. No problems at all. Okay, so what I need to do with this now is just give it a little bit of a coating of gesso. So I'll just go grab my gesso pot and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got a small pot of white gesso, the Gesso Good from Indigo Blue, and I'm just going to take the lid off, grab a paintbrush, and then I'm literally just going to go over. Now, I'm not bothered if any of this washi tape starts to peel up. That will be a little bit of a bonus, really. So I'm going to just literally, just randomly go all over with the gesso. Just knock some of that washi tape into the background so we've got a nice little bit of texture and colour showing through, bearing in mind that this will dye back when it dries. So some of that colour will come shining through whether we like it or not. So it's just the nature of the gesso. So just go all the way over. Just like that. Because some of the washi tape is plasticized, so it will resist the gesso a little bit, but not too particularly worried. There we go, that should do it. Okay, so we'll now give that a blast with the heat gun, and I'll join you again when it's all nice and dry. Okay, so the sheet is now completely dry. As you can still see that washi tape underneath all that gesso, but the gesso gives us a nice little base for us to add some more colours. Now, talking of using up stash, I have this drawer of old distress paints and also some paints from Ranger, Adirondack or Adirondack, depending on which way you want to pronounce it. Some of these, I've still got the wrappers on, look. And I don't know whether or not these things are still in production, but they're quite old as far as I'm concerned. I bought these even before I started out journaling. So I'm going to use up some of these because they're hanging around, not really doing much. So I'm going to add on some wild honey, some rusty hinge. What have we got there? We've got some mowed lawn, some twisted citron. So we're going kind of browns and greens. But I've also got some Victorian velvet, and we've got some festive berries, a little bit of abandoned coral, so that's not that old, that's probably only about a year. And let's see what else we've got in there. Just as a little bit of throw in, we've got some seedless preserves, if I can just make that out with my bad eyesight. And maybe some shaded lilac. So some nice colours there. So let's just pop those to one side. Again, this is an exercise in using up existing stash. So we've got rusty hinge. Let's see if we can get that working. Yep, there's plenty of paint on there. So just going to dab 3 areas, and then I'm going to grab a wet wipe and we can start to add some of that paint into the background using that baby wipe. And like I said, it doesn't matter whether some of the washi tape peels up. Just add that into the background, and I'm not even going to switch with the baby wipes just yet. So this is the wild honey. So I'm just going to turn that round. I'm probably going to end up being completely covered in paint when all this is done. But I don't care and I don't mind because it's half the fun. Okay, so let's add in some of that twisted citron. A few other places. Again, same baby wipe. Some nice kind of warmy green tones there, if there is such a thing as a warm green. It's a nice colour actually. I like that twisted citron a lot. And then just dab with that baby wipe. Okay, so we've done those three. Let's add in some more colour, a little bit of red maybe. This is the abandoned coral. Now I'm going to try not to mix the red with the green just yet. Let that dry a little bit before I put anything over the top. Let's try and turn that baby wipe around a bit. Because we don't want it to go too brown. Because as we know, red and green make brown. So I'm just dragging that colour with the baby wipe. Just adding in where we see fit. Okay, so let's see if we can bring in. This is the festive berry, so this is going to be even darker. Let's see if it works. There we go. Bit there, bit there, bit there, maybe a bit there, maybe a bit there. I'm just going to pat and dab this in because I just want pools of colour. And as you can see, it just kind of blends and forms nice little pockets. But as you can see, you can still see the washi tape underneath in some areas. Nice messy play. Okay, so let's bring in some of that purple now. So this is the shaded lilac. Ooh, quite a lot there. It's a bit juicy. A few cool tones. Just adding in, and I am going to switch out the baby wipes now. But instead of using a wet one, I've got a dry one here. So that's just going to lighten those areas up a bit. Almost goes a bit light. Just feed it in. Nice kind of colourful mottled background. See, because these are acrylic paints, they are permanent when dry, but because of the nature of the light on our planet, even if you overlay one permanent colour over the top of another, unless it's completely opaque, it will show the colour underneath and react with the light. So just a bit more there, just want that a bit more vibrant. Now, have you noticed I've not actually got my heat gun out on this at all yet? I've literally done all this with the paints all being wet, and I've let them dry naturally because it doesn't take long for acrylic paint to dry. And just where I think we need some more, I'll just add and blend with that baby wipe. Okay, now let's go for some darker. So this is the Seedless Preserves. Look at that. I'm keeping it pretty much close to where those colours work best together. So because purple's one of those colours that's kind of in between the warms and the cools, because there's elements of red in purple, but there's also elements of blue in purple, because if you mix red and purple, red and blue together, you get purple. So it's kind of that crossover point on the colour wheel or on that colour spectrum that's kind of halfway between cool and red. Purple is probably one of those only colours that works well with both the cools and the red spectrum, which is possibly why, because it's neither one nor the other, it's possibly why it's also my least favourite colour. But hey, we're all strange in our own way. Cool, liking that. And like I said before, the beauty is you can still see that washi tape underneath. It's still there in the background. Just blend that together. Love it. Look at the way that purple and the green work. Cool colour combination. A bit too stark over there, I think, and maybe a little bit there. I'm liking that. Maybe wanting a little bit more green over here, so I'm going to bring back that Twisted Citron. And with a different part of that baby wipe. That's more like it. Just adds another kind of vibrant spot just there. And that's the beauty. You can keep going in and adding the colour over the top because it's permanent. It works really well. Look how that's blended into that lilac colour there. Love it. Maybe just have a little bit over in that top right hand corner. Just pull it back in shot. I'll just dab in with that baby wipe. Just blend in with the dabs. Likey likey. Let's go down here again. Perfect. Love that. Happy with that. You can still see the washi tape, but that beautiful vibrant colour is there. The only two colours I haven't touched are the Maude Lawn and that Victorian Velvet. I think the green is possibly a bit too strong and that velvet's not strong enough. So back in the drawer they go. Let's get this dried and I'll be right back. Okay, our background is now completely dry, as you can see, and there's a few shiny spots because that's the nature of that acrylic paint from Tim Holtz and Ranger. Sometimes you do get a little bit of shine from it even when it's dry, but that's okay. So the next, I'm going to bring out some white acrylic paint. So this is titanium white from Reeves. Now you can use any white acrylic paint. You can even use gesso again if you want to, but I like to use white acrylic for this next step. Now you can use whatever white acrylic paint you've got, whether it's Dina Wakley, whether it's Reeves, or whether it's Tim Holtz, Picket Fence, or Diane Reevely's. It's entirely up to you. And I've also got some bubble wrap. I'm just going to paint the bubble wrap with the white paint, and then I'm going to dab down. So I now start to create some white highlights into our background. And I'm just going to randomly place it down, peel it off. And I'm not going too heavy. I'm literally just dry brushing the white paint onto the bubble wrap. Now there are various different grades of bubble wrap and various different sizes of bubble wrap. Somewhere I've got some bubble wrap that's got gigantic bubbles on it. I was going to use it for this, but because we've had a bit of a tidy up after Christmas, I just can't seem to lay my hands on it. I've got a funny feeling it's disappeared off into Ian's shed, never to be seen again. So I'll just add more into the background. You can do this randomly, or you can make sure all your bubble circles, if you like, all line up, but I'm not that OCD. Much. And I'm actually placing it down where I think it's going to have the best effect. I think one more. White really does help to unify all the colours. So if you think things are starting to clash a bit, add some white on top, whether it's through a stencil or do a bit of mark making like I'm doing, and have a little bit more up here, I think. And you'll see that it does really help. We'll just add some splatters. Haha. More splatters. Right, let's put that tape, bubble wrap to one side. Now I've also got the lid of, I think this was the lid from a spritzer bottle. So I'm just going to dip that into the paint and then start creating some random circles around the page, just teaming them up. Maybe link in the bubble wrap with those bubbles. Just try to get some, just spread them around, because we are going to be cutting the sheet up, so you do want some of this on each of those ones that we end up cutting out. Try and add them all over. Circles are great for art journal pages. They just seem to go with everything. Not getting a perfect impression is fine. It's not, you're not stamping or anything, and it's certainly not museum quality, but you know, does that matter? Not one jot. It's all coming together. So we can put that lid to one side now, and I want a little bit more of that white paint putting out, because I also want to add in now some bigger circles. So just spread that out on the mat. Now I have here an old fitment from a lamp that I haven't thrown away, because that's a nice bigger circle. Just ideal for mark making. Just keep dabbing it in the paint, working it around. Taking it off the page in areas where there's very little maybe interest, like over here. All starting to come together. Love that, absolutely love it. I'm going to do one couple more up there, and maybe another one just overlapping slightly there, and another one there. Love that. Okay, so they can be put to one side. I'll put my brush in some water. I'll grab a baby wipe, clean this up, get the heat gun on this, and then I'll be right back. Everything is now dry, as you can see. So I wanted to introduce some black into it now. Now we've got some blacks showing through from the washi tape in certain areas. We've got some darker patches showing through here and here and here. Up here in the top, on the corners there, patterns showing through all the way around here, which gives us a little bit of darkness coming through, but I want to bring that all together, if you like. So we've got the white on there. So what I've got is I've got this old school, is that what it's called? Old School Alpha, the small stencil from Dilutions. And we've got some nice kind of writing on there. And seeing as it's a Dilution stencil, I thought we'd use some Dilutions paint. So again, I don't use these often, and I have a distress tool. Doesn't matter that it's not clean because we're using black and it's only ink. So I'm going to load up that sponge on my craft mat here just off to the side, and then I'm just going to rub that around. That should have gone through the stencil, like so. I'm just going to do that in some of the areas where we didn't necessarily get any of those white bubbles, but even when we do, I'm just going to bring it over. I'm just adding a little bit of interest into the background. Bring it down. Actually bring it all the way up to the top. Like so. Maybe add a little bit up there. Yeah, it's smudged a bit up there, but that's okay. And then maybe some down here. Some of the smaller letters. Maybe a little bit down here. Just add that darkness into the background. You see what a huge difference it makes, and as you're looking at it, you can think, oh, maybe I could do with maybe a little bit there, just to kind of make it pop a little bit. Maybe some over in that corner there. And then maybe just a tad over here. Just see where it takes, where the mood takes you. Maybe just a little bit there. Just like that. And I think I'm happy with that as it is. So I'll just put that stencil to one side. Put the paint away. And then I'll bring the heat gun out. I'll give that a blast, make sure it's all nice and dry, and then I'll be right back. All that black paint is now completely dry, and I'm more than happy with the way that is actually looking. And I don't think I want to do any more to it. So what I need to do now is I need to start cutting this up into card front sizes. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to grab my trimmer, my paper trimmer, and I'm just going to open that up, and I'm going to see whether I can get that in at just the right size. There we go. So I'm going to cut these at just under 4 inches. If you're doing your A2 size, you probably want to do these at 4 inches, but I'm just going to do them slightly smaller because A4 size and American letter size is slightly different. So I'm going to cut that into 10cm strips and just see how many I get out. So I think I'm probably going to get about 8 out of this, which is cool, with not a lot of waste. Haha. Okay, so the next measurement I'm going to cut at 14, which is about 5.5 inches, about 14 centimetres, it's about 5.5 inches. 14, so again, we've got a little bit spare. So I am going to get 8 out of these, out of this one. And that's the beauty, you see. It looks so cool. Well, in my opinion anyway. You might think it looks like a complete hot mess. So just pray you don't receive one. Ha 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 ha. Now you see, we've got that bit there which was a bit of a smudge. So I know if I remove that bit there and then turn it round and then cut that at 14 and then cut that at 14, I'm going to cut that bit off. So you're never going to see it. Then, there you go. Right, let's put the trimmer to one side. Hello Mr. Bentley, are you woken up? Guess who's woken up? He's been asleep all afternoon. Okay, so we've now got 8 card fronts that can be turned into very lovely thank you cards. You can see how the nice spread of the black and the white and all that kind of stuff really goes. Okay, so obviously I now need to add those to a card front. So let me just grab some black card and I will be right back. Mind your tail, Mr. Bentley, don't want to stand on it. Now, would you believe I've run out of black cardstock? So I've got some which is almost black. So all I'm going to do is, let's just pick one. That one, I think. And as you can see, there's my card front. Because it's a dark background, that front really does pop. So you can either stick this down with glue or with double-sided tape. So I'm just going to add a little bit of double-sided tape to the back. Oop, just come off of my hand, Your Honour. It's all stuck to my fingers now. Right. It's all stuck to my fingers. Alright, so we've got double-sided tape. One of these days I will replenish my finger lift. Okay. So there's my card front. Make sure we get it the right way around. Now you could, if you wanted to, just run around those edges. Just get rid of, just using up the last of that black paint that was on that sponge. Just to get rid of those white raw edges, and then position that on your card front and then drop it down. Et voila! We now have some lovely little cards that we can send out as a little note or as a thank you. You don't have to add a thank you on the front. You can always add what you want to say on the inside, either on an insert sheet that you can just stick in, or you can even write in a white pen. Just like that. So I'm going to keep these on stock. You've seen me do that one. Because I've not got any more black cardstock, I'm going to wait to put the card fronts on until I've actually purchased some more black cardstock. The stuff that I've got is very flimsy and probably wouldn't even stand up like that. But you get the gist. I've now got another 7 on stock. And it's a process that can be repeated with whatever colours that you want to use. And when you get further on into the year, you could actually make them more seasonal. You could use spring colours by using some of the pale pinks and pale lilacs and pale lemons and pale blues. And as you get into summer, you could use more stronger reds and oranges and greens and that kind of stuff. And when you move into fall or autumn, you can use more oranges and reds and golds. And when you get to winter, you can use more blues and silvers and those kind of beautiful colours. Or even do it for Halloween and just use orange, black, green and purple. Fabulous combinations. So there you go. Dead easy and dead simple to do in not a lot of time. Just realised they kind of match my jumper. Anyway, that was purely coincidental. So, cards, yes. So, fun to do. Lots and lots of fun to do. And of course, no two are the same. So, you've got a lot of scope to play with those. Really enjoy making them. Anyway, that's enough from me for now. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, please remember to give it a thumbs up, share the video with your friends, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, you can do so by clicking the button at the end of this video. That's all from me for now. I will see you all again very, very soon. Bye for now. A little stash of, like I said, let's just start that again because it was a load of rubbish. God, I can't talk today. No. Yeah. Take 3. I'd also like to say a huge thank you to all of my angels, without whose generosity and support these videos would not be possible. Thank you.